right, so we're here and we're talking about Halloween Ends, and I think this movie was a bit of a disappointment. I was looking massively forward to it. I think my history with the David Gordon Green trilogy is that I really enjoyed Halloween 2018. You know what I mean? I thought that movie was great. I also liked Halloween Kills despite it being, you know, teased and put up as the bridge movie by people who really like it. This was the movie that tied in Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, and then we have the aftermath, which is Ends. And I liked Halloween Kills as well. Granted, I don't really agree with the decision to sideline Laurie Strode and put her in the hospital, and I really hated the Haddonfield residents. And then we move on to Ends. Now there's going to be spoilers present, so if you really didn't see this movie, then I would suggest you do so before watching this video. All right, 1, 2, 3, here we go. Spoiler time. They advertised this film as the idea of the final battle. This is Michael Myers versus Laurie Strode. This is the end. Somebody is going to die. Either it's going to be one, the other, or both. I love that premise because it was all building up to that in the movies. Michael being angry that he was, you know, essentially burnt in the basement, coming out, enacting vengeance on the Haddonfield residents. And then we get that climactic moment where Michael Myers kills Laurie Strode's daughter. I was following the production history of this movie for the longest time, and I was hearing other plot details from people who leaked the movie saying that, hey, they might focus on this character called Corey Cunningham, who is essential to the plot, whereas Laurie Strode will get sidelined in this movie along with Michael Myers. And I thought that was crazy. I thought that was unfathomable, right? I just didn't think it would happen, but it happens in this film. And I try to see what they did. A good comparison I heard is that they tried to pull a Friday the 13th part 5 where it wasn't really Jason Voorhees, it was the father of one of the people that was slain, that was his son, and he tried to enact vengeance by being Jason Voorhees, embodying the killer and going around and killing as many people as he could. I get that idea. On paper, it sounds different, divisive, and awesome. On paper, it sounds fine. In execution, it was not good. The reason for this probably is due to the fact that I believe that this movie has some of the most irredeemable people I ever seen in a horror film. I'm talking every resident is a dick. I did not like anyone in this movie outside of Laurie's daughter, and even then she gets mad at her mom, and it's the whole, they try to introduce a love subplot where Laurie's granddaughter is in love with Corey, and they go back and forth, and she's hating Laurie in the process, and it just fell flat for me because, once again, we've seen what happened to Laurie's daughter, you know, her mom, you know, the goddaughter's mom. Following in the same footsteps is stupid. You're just retreading that same thing when Laurie warned you there's this greater force out there. You shouldn't trust this random boy for some reason. He starts getting linked to murders, and then all of a sudden you're in the shit at the end of the movie. So like, there you go. Like, it's just so irredeemable. I hated every single resident. I probably hate the people in this town more than how they were portrayed in Halloween Kills. That's how bad it is. That's how you just want every single person that's not innocent to die immediately, and most of them are not innocent. It's a bullying trend in this movie. So the guy to embody the fake copycat Michael Myers, Corey Cunningham, is the main character. I will be positive on this part. I do believe that the beginnings, the humble beginnings, I understood. And it could have worked if it was done better. I understood that, yes, maybe this kid could be like a red herring or something where you think he's not the killer, but he actually is. But it's so blatant in this movie that all hope is lost. He just sort of does it. And I think it's because he was influenced by the evil or something like that. You see, he looks in Michael Myers' eye and then Michael Myers lets him go and you don't understand what's going on. But then later on, you see him just randomly killing people. Then he kills himself at the end of this arc. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe he was corrupted or something. And the movie tried to convey that, but they didn't do a really good job at it. Like I said, the first few minutes of Corey, I actually was behind him. I'm like, you know, fuck these kids bullying this man constantly for no reason, just because, you know, the mistake at the beginning was him kicking open a doorway, knocking a kid off a balcony, and the kid just snapped his neck like a twig, and it was all a horrible accident. But then we get to the other portion of this movie where it's all about the blame game, just like Halloween Kills. It gets stupid after a while. Now I understand the Corey's mom or whoever that woman was who blamed her for the kid's death. I understand her getting pissed at him, reasonably so. You know what I mean? I think he probably should have got more jail time. He was out lickety split, but that's just me. But then we get to when it happens to Lori. Like, people start blaming her for the murders in Haddonfield, and it's like, oh, you awoke the beast. That's why Michael's like going around killing all these people. It's your fault. And I just thought to myself, how? Like, one thing they could have done better is having us sympathize with the pain, the anguish that the residents of Haddonfield had over time, and realizing that the evil must die thing or evil dies tonight thing was really detrimental in the long run, and it really hurt the community. Like, this community should have been healing and mourning and really sympathetic to the plight, and maybe even assisting Lori and saying, hey, we need to stop this person because they keep hurting innocent people, and we're on your side, and we know how it's like, we know how the pain is, we made mistakes, our people made mistakes, and therefore you can understand the town is trying to evolve past all the hate. But no, it really doesn't. It doesn't evolve past that. It's just the same rhetoric of, you done this, so therefore it's your fucking fault. And I found that frustrating after a while. And then they just commit cardinal sins. Like, I don't know why Michael Myers is play fighting with Corey in the sewer. That's a little weird. Like, he should have like killed him 10 times over before he actually decided to kill him and say, you got a gaping wound in your neck. You're a little bit worthless to me. Let me just snap that neck like a twig. Let me just snap that neck right there. Like, it's just okay. This is the shape. He's the living embodiment of evil, so you figure he would have killed this man earlier than expected, but it seemed like he was almost trying to groom Corey into the ultimate evil. And it's like, why? He's Michael Myers. Why would he need an accomplice? He's been doing this solo dolo for like the past 15 years now. I don't know, excluding Medic that he randomly choked out, and then the guy got his head chopped off, and that turned out to be a fake out when we saw Halloween Resurrection. But that's just more, you know, trying to be smart and everything so you don't get captured or killed. But I mean, this movie had a lot of potential. Like, the good things about this film is honestly the kills and stuff like that. I thought the kills were great. Nice practical effects, just really harrowing stuff when Michael shoves like this piece of metal tin inside of fucking Laurie's cheek, and you see it go right all the way in. And I just had that tension that the last 30 minutes of the movie, if that was like stretched out over the runtime, that would have been sick. That would have been just sick. A constant battle of life or death between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode and her family and the town and the residents of Haddonfield being affected by the process, and you really feel the pain between others. Like, it's a premise so simple, but they decided to do something new in the process. I even think that they could have made Corey better. They could have just made him, like I said earlier, the red herring, someone you don't expect, maybe a side character. He really didn't deserve like half of the movie, right? No way. And you don't suspect him, and it's similar to Sartain, of course, where he turns at the end, but at least you have a more built up sympathetic character. You want them to get out and succeed, and then he pulls the Sartain and tries to kill Laurie's granddaughter, and you have that plot point before he's ultimately killed by the OG Michael Myers that says, hey, this is my show and I don't need any accomplice of the sort. It feels like this movie tries to do a hodgepodge of things, and you could tell that because there was 4 people in the writing room, from what I could tell. And if that's the case, then this movie is a symptom of too many cooks in the kitchen. It's way too many people doing different things, offering up way too many different and unique ideas, and they didn't really pull it together in the long haul. It's like a deflating cake in the oven, going up, then down, and then down slowly until it crumbles into the floor. That's exactly what Halloween Ends was to me. The merits, like I said, Laurie Strode, great character. Jamie Lee Curtis really embodies the role and does it solid. The last 20 to 30 minutes of the movie was great. You finally get the fight that was proposed with Michael and Laurie, and I believe the high tension of that and people getting stabbed, and it's like, oh, somebody's gonna get killed. Oh shit, is somebody gonna get their hand put into the dishwasher? Oh my god, like, it's just one gory bit after the other, and I really loved it. I loved it so much. It was, if the entire movie was that, it would be perfect. Perfection down to the last minute detail. it would be great, and we didn't get all that, but for the small moment of them actually doing this in the movie, I thought that was just fine. I thought that was great. I did like the fact that the kills were also cool. They didn't happen a lot on average, but when we actually got to the nitty-gritty of the bloody details, I enjoyed that as well. And Corey, in the beginning, he was promising start for a new character before they just decided to execute that really poorly. Really poorly. Poor trash. Just that's how I felt about that. It was going somewhere and then they lost me. It was going somewhere, then they lost me. You know, that's how I felt during that entire time seeing this guy do stuff. And I don't believe that the entire first hour should have been just about him. That's way too long. That's way too long for characterization. When I see the meme, the Corey Cunningham movie and Michael Myers is there too, I guess is right. It's true. I saw this brought up in a comment section not too long ago, and I thought the same principle when they talked about how it feels like these later Halloween renditions, they kind of miss some type of exposition character, just like Dr. Loomis. And I agree with that. I agree that they definitely missed this element of someone questioning the very idea and showcasing that Michael Myers is nothing to be fucked with. He is complete and utter chaos. I have to figure out a way to destroy this at all costs, even if it means putting myself, my life on the line. This is what I believe in. This person should not exist, and everyone around me keeps calling me crazy and keeps calling me insane for not essentially being peaceful with them, but they don't understand where I'm coming from. This abomination needs to die. They don't have anyone like that struggle character that already knows the deal. The more bodies pile up, the more he's walking around, the more he needs to be stopped. We don't have that. Maybe a little bit of that should have been in this movie. And I know it would be a Sartain repeat if they did that, except, you know, they try to subvert Sartain a little bit and say, hey, I'm the evil now, I want to be an evil guy, you know what I mean? But they could have did that with Corey, and it would have been on a more sympathetic level if written correctly. Like, this could have worked, but it just didn't. I also think that, oh man, I didn't even talk about the scene where they made Laurie, like, I think it was after Mr. Corey decided to introduce a stainless steel knife to his neck, that he was trying to, you know, frame her or something like that was going somewhere, and she decided to reel the knife out of his body and put her fingerprints on it. And the whole time I was like, you're why would you do this? Like, you know what he's going for. Like, why would you put your hands on the knife? And that's when the goddaughter or granddaughter walked in and saw her have the knife in her hands, like, oh, you killed my boyfriend, blah blah blah. And I was like, it's such plot contrivance that it is borderline insulting. When I saw that scene, I'm just like, I can't believe Laurie would ever stoop down and give fucking this crazy kid what he wants with the prints on the knife. So many decisions like that. The music in this movie is so good. It's so awesome. The right musical cues and everything like that. I thought that was particularly fine. But this movie was disappointing. I'm sorry, people. It was just disappointing, and it just left me in a daze of wanting more, actually being in the writer's room and seeing what could have transpired here to make this movie like 5,000 different things. Like, an identity crisis was indeed in place here for Halloween Ends. It wants to be a love story and a romance. It also wants to resolve all of the stuff from the last movie. It also wants to show that evil dies tonight still affects the town, but in the worst way possible. It wants to also show a new copycat killer. It wants to do so many things, and I'm just like, maybe stop, and instead of doing like 5 or 6 story beats, just do like 2 or 3, you'll be fine. I think that's the main crux here. That's the main argument I have against this one. I don't have anything personal to people who actually liked Halloween Ends for trying to be divisive and do something different. I think that's totally fine. I think you should experiment in your franchise eventually at a point, but you need to also understand what made the previous point work. And the setup for this movie was indeed the final encounter between these two, because like I said, Michael Myers killed her daughter. She was coming for vengeance. That should have been the entire film, with all of these new elements sprinkled in, red herrings, all that stuff to keep things surprising. Like, they're still there, they're not gone, just done in a better way. And the diminishing of Corey should have been prevalent, you know what I mean? It should have been a surprise still, but I still hate that he took up that whole hour, man. That's crazy. Like, I know you need build up, but damn. And the payoff was like, okay, he just does all this and he does it, he kills all these people and he kills himself, and it's like, okay, so that's the resolution. Like, if it was stronger resolution, I would be on board, but it's not. So I mean, I hope that also the ending was kind of disappointing too, because Michael Myers gets his like throat slit, his hand slit, and he's done. It's not even anything epic like it was in Halloween H2O, where they just chop off his head, like boom, off with his head with an axe. Brutal, devastating, amazing. Like, he should have went out hardcore. It's cool. Like, I had one idea. They put his body in the wood chipper. He was already dead. Maybe the final battle should have took place on top of a wood chipper, and you don't know who's gonna go in, Michael or Laurie. That would have been cooler, and then you would have got that sick shot of his body like crumbling into pieces when he falls into the wood chipper. That would have been a very cool ultimate finale, man, but we didn't get that. I will say Halloween Ends had so much room for improvement. I tried to enjoy what I could, but the cons definitely outweighed the pros for me. And eventually, I guess in a few years, they'll just reboot this franchise again, but I think this is the end of Jamie Lee Curtis being a part of it. So last hurrahs to Lori. Thank you very much, Jamie, for contributing so much to this franchise, and I hope you find great ventures in your life and endeavors and everything. I just hope that the next Halloween movie, they definitely take into account what makes Michael and the world around him unique, and that offers up a better conclusion with better results and a much better story, because I know they're going to definitely do more Halloween in the future. It just won't be this time arc. This trilogy is done. But that's my review of Halloween Ends. Maybe I will retroactively go back and review all the previous films. If I were to rank them, of course, it's gonna be a no-brainer. Like, my rankings in like order, release order, right? The best movie in my opinion is Halloween 2018. I thought that movie was great. And then Halloween Kills, while not as great as 2018, I was entertained, and that's all I needed. And then the final movie, Halloween Ends, is the lowest ranked in the series. Tell me what you thought of this review of Halloween Ends. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed it. In the comment section below, please leave your comments saying how you felt about the movie, what was your thoughts on the movie, etc. You know, that's free to have that done. Like the video, share it, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Later.